to my daddy's podcast right now. It's the best show in the world.
And this is the Cards Face Up podcast. I am your host, Mr. Ty Hill. Listen, today we have a very special episode. And I know you're thinking right now, after all these episodes we done gave y'all the great people you like, every episode has been special, Ty. But this episode is also very, very, very special, near dear to my heart. You know, today's guest, well, let me build a moment, because y'all know I like to build those moments. Let's start with those moments. The year was 1988, and a newcomer named Keith Sweat, he released his first album, and that first single from that album featured a beautiful voice. And honestly, I don't think the song does as well or becomes this classic that lasts this long without this voice. Now, that song is literally considered one of the greatest songs ever created. I mean, it used to play in every party, every dance, every prom. It was everywhere. Movies. I mean, when you think about love, you think about all of the things that this song talked about. And still to this day, we're talking 35 years later, this song is still considered one of the best songs. I mean, it's still going to get a party jumping and make you think of those special happy times. Look, I ain't going to talk y'all head off. Let's just play a little clip of the song. There go that voice. Y'all don't want me to sing. I make no one but you. What she say? You make me feel the way you make me. Look, Lord. She's a vocalist. She's a dancer, a writer, a creator, a mother, a queen, you know. And if you follow her on social media, then you know that she's a comedian. She's an actor. She's one of the coolest people in the world, y'all. And she's part of music history. I could go on and on with this introduction, but I'm going to just say today we have on Queen Jacci Mcghee. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's good? You are funny. You was singing, make it last, and I was like, get it in. You was getting it in.
Listen, that song makes you sing. It don't matter how good you sound or how bad you sound. That song makes you sing. So
that's right.
I wanted to bring you on here. You know, like I told you, we believe in honoring people. We believe in making sure people get their just due. And like everybody say, we give them their flowers while they can still smell it. But I believe that, you know, it's not just saying that we go. So let's kick it. Let's start from the beginning. Miss Jacci, how did you discover that voice that you had? Is singing always something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, since I was little, I grew up listening to Phyllis Hyman and Jean Carn, Tina Turner, Joyce Kennedy from Mother's Finest. Those were like my favorite singers. And, you know, I was singing since I was 3. And I used to tell my mother, you know, one day, Mom, I'm going to be a singer. So I started, you know, doing like little shows and stuff when I was about, let me think, I had to be maybe 14. I started doing some shows, you know, little local shows, because we moved down south. I'm from New York. We moved down south. So, you know, it's boring down there. You had nothing to do. And you always find those kids that come from New York like you do. And, you know, you connect with the New York kids because it's like, oh, this is whack down here. Ew, you know, we mad bored. So we, me and my girlfriend, we came up with this thing that we were going to, you know, put our own little band together. But we ended up singing with these other little local bands, helping them out or whatever. But my mom, you know, she wouldn't let me go to the gigs, you know, and hang out at no gigs, anything. So she would let me do the show and she'd be right there. And then it was like, okay, let's go. You know, it was never like, oh, you could go do a gig and somebody else can take you and all that. My mother was like, nah, we're not doing that. So moving forward from that, when I graduated from high school, I had 2 scholarships for music because I played clarinet. I was in marching band so for years, and I became drum major and all of that. And then I was also in like a singing chorale, and we traveled a lot. So I had 2 music scholarships, and it was like take the scholarships or go back to New York and sing. And my sister had, the hookup because her fiance at the time, he was already in the music industry. He was in the group Change with
Okay.
Luther Vandross. And
Yeah.
then he started playing with Uncle Mtume, Most High Rest His Soul. So James Mtume. So at a young age, I was able to meet them. I actually met them at 12 years old. And then I started going like back and forth to New York during the summers, when I was still in high school. So when I graduated, I didn't take my scholarships for music. I went back to New York and I was like, I'm just going to take my chance and see what will happen. So I started singing with Johnny Kemp and, just got paid
Mm.
Johnny Kemp and all of them. They were doing like all of this local stuff. Like they were the baddest bands in New York. I mean, crazy. So I started learning from, Mtume, going out on the road with Mtume and watching them sing Juicy Fruit and You, Me and He. And
Right.
then I started traveling and going to shows with Atlantic Star because my brother-in-law, he played with them as well. So I started getting my, my little ends. And, for some reason, you start to know that maybe I'm really destined for this, because of
Mm-hmm.
the people that you're around. So I met this young guy. His name was Clarell, and he just so happened to be in a group with Teddy Riley at the time called Kids at Work. So Clarell was like, I want you to meet, my boy Teddy, and we were 19 at the time. And I met Teddy and we decided we were gonna put a band together. So I was like, let's put a band together and do us. So we had a hot band, We used to rehearse on 145th and 8th Avenue in one of them spots, everybody doing cocaine in the
Right.
back room, playing cards, all of that. And Gene Griffin was in jail at the time. So, and for the people that don't know who Gene Griffin is and was, Gene Griffin was a true. First of all, I have to say that Gene was always a gentleman, but he
Mm.
was definitely that kingpin and
Yes.
will kill you and everything else. Yes, but
Yes.
he he always took care of me. He made sure that me and Teddy were okay all the time. And so he made a phone call like, Teddy and Jackie gonna be in there, they're gonna be rehearsing with the band. Watch them. Do not let nothing happen. No shootouts better not pop off. No, nothing better not pop off while they're in there rehearsing. So we used to use the spot to rehearse. We started doing shows around New York and we did it for a while. And then we dispersed. And also that the person, it was funny because in the band, it was myself, it was Omar Chandler that sung with Rob Bass. He did that Joy and Pain song with Rob Bass.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away as well, most high rest his soul. He was one of the singers with me, and he's also Teddy's sister's fiance. He has a son with Teddy's sister. So we were all like doing our stuff, and then another guy in the group, he ended up, so everybody like partied, but everybody ended up being successful, doing what
Yeah.
we did. And it was crazy because Teddy went and he started doing, his stuff, but I didn't know what Teddy was doing. I just knew he was, we broke up and we were all trying to do our own thing. So I meet Keith in a club. I was fitting in sitting in a band, and I meet Keith because my a friend of mine brought Keith in. Well, he's now my father-in-law. This friend of mine, he brought Keith in. Keith was in his group and in the band Jamila, and he was like, he wanted to meet you. So I was like, what's up? We talked after the show, and he said, I want you to come to the studio. I'm working on the record. So I knew he was trying to rap at the same time, trying to get his little
Listen, I
swerve
was
in.
about to say that. I was about to say that. Keith speaks candid about the fact that he wanted to get you.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
speaks candid about that's why he wanted you in the studio with him and he had a crush on you.
All that nonsense, the nonsense that I'm like spoiled by. But we ended up I ended up coming to the studio. When I got there, Teddy was there. So it was like, oh, like we both looking at each other and he's like, what you doing here? And I'm like, what you doing here? You know, and he was like, I'm, you know, working on the record. And I was like, okay. Once I saw Teddy, I'm not gonna lie, that made me feel so much more comfortable because I didn't know Keith. And he was only doing a single at the time. So we started with Don't Stop Your Love. And then we did I Wanna. And the third song that, you know, they worked on was Make It Last Forever. And they called me to come in the studio, and Teddy didn't, I mean, not Teddy, Keith didn't actually want me to sing Duet. He didn't know who he wanted. So he brought in another singer that he used to work with, and I knew her really well, Vivian Sesam's nice, beautiful person and wonderful voice. And he brought both of us in, and he was like, you know, I want both of y'all to try this song. So Vincent Davis, that had entertainment that Keith was signed to, Vincent was like, well, I want Jackie to try it first. And Teddy said, yeah, I want Jackie to try it first too. So when I went in, we did the song and that was it. There was nobody come in and sing nothing else. The song was done. The song was done. I'm sorry. I still apologize for that. I felt so bad.
You just now, no, you created history. You can't feel bad about history. But you just breezed through so much information that is just mind-boggling. Like,
I mean, crazy. I know.
It seems like just the doors were open. Everything was aligned for you to actually end up here. You know, so that's beautiful. So it's funny because you and Teddy already knew each other. Teddy ended up, for those that don't know, working on the album, like she said, you know, Make It Last Forever was written by Keith and Teddy. And it has you featured on it. When you first heard Keith Sweat, because I want to know, how did you feel? Did you hear him at the club or at the studio was your first time hearing him?
At the studio. That was the first time. And I did not like his voice. I did not like his voice. Did not. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, you know, when we did the duet, I was like, this song is not going anywhere. I was like, oh man, this song ain't coming out. And that's the crazy thing, because I thought that Keith sound a lot. See, I love Steve Arrington. So when I heard Keith, I was like, okay, he's a fake Keith, Steve Arrington. I was like, yeah, you know, I was like, oh, here we go. He ain't gonna try to make a record and sound like Steve Arrington. But the tracks were so dope that I was like, I don't know. And when we did I Wanna, I knew that was a hit right off the bat. I was like, as soon as I heard the track, you know, I came in the studio and the track, and Teddy likes to play stuff loud. And when I came in the studio and I Wanna was pumping, I knew right then and there. I was like, oh, that's a hit. That's a hit. That I was like, he's out of here. With his crazy voice, he's out of here. He's about to have a hit. So even Don't Stop Your Love was banging. And that's me on Don't Stop Your Love as well. So you know, I like I said, I wasn't a fan of Keith's voice, and I didn't think Make It Last was going to do anything. I really didn't. I did not think it was going to do anything.
Wow. I can't imagine being in a studio when that's created. And it was so much trailblazing stuff going on. I mean, we got to be honest about what this time is in the late 80s. I mean, we're talking about Keith Sweat, and his voice is really, you know, it's different. It's very different.
Yeah.
But we don't know the writing skills he got yet, who he ended up being one of the greatest writers, you know, and we don't know what this voice is really going to become. But we also got Teddy Riley involved. And if y'all don't know what Teddy Riley is, you feel me? This is the creator of one of the best, I want to say one of the best times in music, the whole New Jack Swing era. That's what Teddy created. That's what he brought us. I mean, we're talking about R&B, Daz Effects. We're talking about, not Daz Effects, Rump Shaker. What was that?
And now you got me thinking. That's
Check Baby 1 2.
That's Teddy's brother, Teddy's brother Markel, and the other one that was a Rex and Effect. Rex and Effect.
That's what it was. And man, we got that. We got Blackstreet. We got so much that Teddy was involved in. I mean,
everything.
Michael Jackson.
he did so much.
Exactly. So Teddy actually started, and back then it wasn't even coined as the name
New
that we
Jack
ended up giving
Swing.
it, which was the New Jack Swing. You know, it wasn't coined that term. What the hell was you thinking? I mean, I heard you say how certain songs got you up, but what was you thinking when Teddy was going in that direction? When you saw him at the studio with Keith versus when you saw him when y'all had the band, which is incredible because I never knew that.
Right.
Did you see a difference in him, or he was already reaching for
Well,
like
Teddy
something different?
he was already doing I think at the time Teddy was working with because he did that
Oh, the show? He did.
yes, yes,
I learned that on Versus. You're right.
yes, he did that. And he had already started working with people. So I knew, Teddy had a little keyboard, he was all about carrying that little keyboard everywhere. I knew that Teddy was going to do well. I just didn't know how well he was going to do. I didn't know that it was going to be a sound created called New Jack Swing and none of that. It was just like, I knew that he was special. I knew he had a talent that was like far beyond what people even understood. And I knew his work ethic, earth ethics. Teddy was he loved to rehearse. He loved to make sure that stuff is tight. He don't give you a break. He gonna work you until you can't see. That's how he works. And I did not know. I had no idea, what it was, what was gonna come out of any of that, and it's just it was just hit after hit after hit, and it was a wrap. After that, it was just like once I think he did, the show, and then Keith's album dropped. Keith's album went platinum so fast, and it didn't only go platinum; it went double platinum. It sold 2 million plus, and I'm sure it's way more than that, now, because over the years it just kept selling and selling, and around the world, it was selling. I don't know how many records he sold around the world with "Make It Last Forever" album, but like I said, I had no idea anything was going to do what it did. So we were out on the road, and we did a video for "Don't Stop Your Love." There was a video for "I Wanna," I believe, and because we were on the road, it was like when they did say Keith was going to do a video or something, it was like, oh, okay, either they said, Jackie, you got to come and you got to be in it, or we would do whatever else we were doing. So when "Make It Last," when we started, when they decided they wanted to put "Make It Last Forever" out as a single, they really just did it. It wasn't no, we're going to ask, we're going to talk about it, no nothing. They just put "Make It Last Forever" out as a single. When it came out as a single, we were on the road. My sister called me and she said, your song is playing on the radio. And I was like, what song? And she was like, your song with Keith Sweat is playing on the radio. And I was like, get out of here. And she was like, no, it's playing on the radio. So I'm like, all right. So I hear it, one day. I hear it on the radio, and I'm like, okay, it sounds good. It doesn't sound too bad.
Right.
That's when you're like, okay. But we were already performing it live, and we were trying to keep it as close to the record as we could. But the bad part about it was we didn't end up doing a video because it went up the charts so fast that there was no time for a video. It was just no time to do a video. We were out on the road going to every city, killing it in every city. So it was like, oh, we don't need a video.
My feelings is still hurt that there's no video for that.
I know. I think that was the worst thing for me because us not, for us not having a video, people didn't know what I look like. So for years, if you didn't come to them concerts or you didn't know, my singles when it dropped or whatever, you wouldn't know what I look like. You wouldn't know anything about me. So it was except my voice, and that's it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that the Most High made it that way. He was like, okay, I'm not going to let you get all crazy in this because business is retarded. I don't want you doing X, Y, Z, So I used to cry and question everything. And I'm like, I don't understand why. But it's a lot. And like I told you, you know, we can, you don't have to rush. We can talk about stuff because it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff that, you know, I wasn't able to do, and I'll fill you in on, whatever. So go ahead. You can talk.
I was about to ask, I mean, after you, and that's why I say you did so much trailblazing, you know, we literally got to coin you that term of you're the queen of New Jack Swing, because you're one of the first women inside of that world, you know, to deal with that world. So whether or not anybody has ever said that, facts are facts. You're probably the queen of it. So
Teddy does. He tells me I'm the first lady of New Jack Swing. That's what he tells me.
It has to be. Who else could it be? It can't be nobody else. So we go from that new thing that y'all created, magic over there. But then I think your next thing was what? The Salt-N-Pepa Expression? Now you sung on Salt-N-Pepa Expression, and I say trailblazing because this is a time when women started getting vocal in music and saying things that they wanted to say and speaking like they wanted to speak, you know, more than just a hoe or a bitch that, you know, excuse my language, that a lot of rappers hardcore wanted to label them as, you know. We had Queen Latifah back then, and we had MC Light. We had women starting to speak, but expression with Salt-N-Pepa was a big deal. So how was that? And you also got your face in that video. I remember seeing you in that one.
In the garbage can.
Yes. How was that? How did that come about? Tell us that first.
Well, I had already had a record deal with MCA, MCA Universal Records, and we had so many people on the roster. It was crazy. Me, Bobby Brown, New Edition, and by the way, we all had the same manager, Hiram Hicks. Let me see. It was Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Shantae Moore, Jody Watley, Eric B. There was so many people on MCA. And then you had, you know, Uptown, which was a part of MCA. So now you have Jodeci and Father MC and Albie Shore, everything. And you have all these artists, and it's like, okay, because, you know, MCA was that was the big black, you know, their black department was crazy with R&B music. So we had, you know, MCA was like the king of that right then. You know, that was they made a ton of money off of so many acts that they had, all the black acts that they did, that they were putting out. And, but the thing was, we all, you know, everybody couldn't come out. And they just couldn't get it together on who they wanted to put out at what time. So, you know, the big artists are going to come out first. And they pushed my record back. My record was finished in January 1990. My album was finished, and it was like, you know, okay, the record's finished. What are we going to do? And they pushed the record back. So Herbie Lovebug called me because we had been doing shows on the road. Salt-N-Pepa was on the road with us too. We had done a tour in '88. I forget the name of the tour, but it was Keith Sweat, Salt-N-Pepa, and Heavy D. And Keith, of course, was the headliner, and everybody, you know, Salt-N-Pepa. It was Keith headlining, and it was Salt-N-Pepa, and it was Heavy. So we all got to know each other then, and me and Herbie became friends, and his sister started working for me. So, you know, now we family. And Herbie calls me one day, and he's like, Jack, I need you to do me a favor. And I was like, sure. He said, can you come to the studio and work on something for me and fix it? And I was like, all right, well, what is it? And he said, we got a song, and it's I can't get the song right. And he was like, I need some vocals on there, and I need your vocals on there. So, you know, he was like, I called Stanley Brown, and there's producer Stanley Brown that did the Christopher Williams, what was Christopher Williams' single?
That was around the time when he was in a movie, right?
What was Chris's single? I can't even think of it right this second. I forgot,
because that's when he did the whole acting funny.
Stanley Brown produced that on Chris. and he's produced some other stuff, but Stanley has a whole roster of stuff. And he was like, you know, Herbie was like, well, I called Stanley in too, so I need both of y'all to come in and fix this record. So Stanley and I, we get in the studio and we both like, oh Lord, what are we gonna do to this? So I'm going over the song and I'm saying, well, let me rewrite this and write it and sing it the way Shaka Khan would do it. I was like, let me see would this work if I can do something that sounds like something Shaka would do. And I did it, and it was the whole hook to Expressions. So it was and when you think about it, when you hear it, then you can hear the little bit of Shaka that's in it. Don't tell me what I cannot do, babe. Yeah. And that's something that Shaka would sing. Like that's how she was singing. So
yeah.
So I was like, I didn't know if that song was gonna hit or not. We just like, yeah, here's another song. Like, okay, we're just gonna see what happens. Turns out it comes out and it's a #1 freaking single there. And it was their first #1 record on Billboard on the hip hop charts. I thought Push It was a #1 record, but it wasn't. Expressions was their first #1 record. So it sold 2 million singles. It went double platinum. And when we were doing the video, it was so crazy. Herbie's house caught on fire. And it was supposed to be me, Herbie, and Play from Kid and Play. We were going to be bums in the videos. In the video, we were going to be bums together, digging out of the garbage cans and stuff. And then towards the end of the video, we were going to dress up and walk the runway and, be all fly and whatever. So since Herbie's house caught on fire, we're shooting the video and I finished my part and I was supposed to dress up and do the next part. So Millicent Shelton, she's a big producer now, but she was the hot video director back then. And she said, well, Jack, I don't, I have you here to come and do, change clothes and do the runway. But she said, Salt said no. And I was like, what you mean? And she was like, yeah, Cheryl said, no, we're not doing that. So I said, first of all, the deal was not for me to come and be no bum and no garbage can, and we're going to leave it at that, because the crazy part was the hats and stuff that they wore in the video, that's how I dressed. So, that was taken from me to put in the video. And that's why I found a hat in the garbage, because that was my thing. I wore these funky hats. And it's so funny because Mike Bivens, and when he saw the video, he was like, yo, Jack, what's going on? They took your style, man. That's your style. What happened? And let me tell you, because by the time Herbie ended up coming to the video shoot, I was already dressed, ready to leave, had my coat on, everything. And he was like, Jack, where you going? And I said, well, Cheryl told Millicent she didn't want to do that part. She didn't want us to dress up. So I'm going home. And, he was like, well, wait a minute, wait. So he went and he was talking to Millicent and he was talking to Cheryl. And at that point I was like, you know what? Keep what y'all got. I'm good. I'm out. And I left. Because I was not a confrontational person when it came to music. I would cuss you out, but it was a certain thing. I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna fight for that. I'm just gonna let it go. Because at the end of the day, I don't care. I was like, I just want to do a hip hop record. I already got in trouble because I wasn't supposed to do it. Harrell told me not to do it. And then the record label didn't know I was doing it. So I wanted to do it. I snuck and did it because I was like, man, please, y'all put me on the shelf. I'm gonna do something. So I not only did Expressions, and then when they dropped it, it went #1, and then it was double platinum. I left and went on the road with the rock group Toto.
With Toto.
And, I was singing, Hold the Line, Georgie Porgy, Rosanna.
Well, hold on. I don't want to go to Toto just yet, because that's we going right on that. We're going right on that. But I got to get back to the Salt-N-Pepa thing.
Okay.
Have you ever discussed why
he
didn't want you to be there?
No. And you know what? To this day, because to be honest, when Dee Dee, when Spin was having a problem with them 2 years ago, she was suing them, and we were both actually going at them at the same time because Cheryl did not want me to have credit. She didn't want me to get residuals off of expressions. You know, it didn't come into play for us to have like residuals for performance royalties, you know, until 2006, and it was because everything went to streaming. So now, you know, we have to get residuals. So the residuals and stuff started picking up more like, you know, 2010, around, like 2010. So she didn't want me to have, you know, residuals. So the argument with us was, well, what do you mean? I'm going back and forth with a manager who I knew very well. He wasn't a manager before, and I used to do work for him. And we going back and forth, and I'm like, what do you mean? She don't want me to have, you know, a percentage. We supposed to split it 3 ways, or we split it 4, with Dee Dee being part of it. And he said Cheryl was like, you made a deal with Herbie, and you made a deal with Herbie, and you're not supposed to get any residuals. But first of all, I made a deal with Herbie not to get a point on the record. I told him, you know, it's okay because I was supposed to get a point on the record so I can get paid. I gave up that point on the record. So, and I gave up my writer's credit. I wrote my part. So I didn't even get publishing, and I was making money. So, you know, at that time, you're young, you making money, and you're like, you know what, just rock with it. But I got in trouble for it because I was supposed to not only have a point on the record, I was supposed to get publishing, you know, right money as well. So I gave all of that up, and now it's, you know, performance royalty time because of Spotify and all the streaming services, and you don't want to give that. What do you mean? That's just being greedy. Now, I could take them to court right now and win because I wrote my part. I didn't sign no contract about nothing, and I could take them to court and win, you know, hands down. But, you know, it's going to cost me a lot to do it, and I can't afford to do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave it to the Most High and just, you know, let it go. So in 2020, when I was fighting back and forth with them and Spin was fighting back and forth with them, I just, you know, I prayed about it, and it was like the Holy Spirit just said, leave it alone. Like loud as day in my spirit, leave it alone. And I was like, all right, Father, because this is not fair. Your word says, you know, I have to call him on his word. And I said, your word say, pay a man for his labor.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know.
I wondered that. I'm glad that I got this story because I knew nothing about this whole thing going on, you know. And I'm glad we got that story. I'm glad. I don't know if the listeners already knew, but I'm glad that we got that story because I always wondered, your credits even on the song, it doesn't say featuring you, which I thought was weird. And I'm like, it's clear
no, it
that
does.
It's her.
On the album, it does.
On the album, it does?
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
it
cool.
says featuring Jacci Mcghee. Yes, it does.
Okay, cool. Because I was looking, even recently, I was looking at videos. Well, they put up by anybody anyway. So but the videos did, and I was just weirded out by it. So I'm glad that we got that story. And so, Cheryl, whatever the hell you want to be called, we're going to need you to fix this. You know what it is. Face upset it. Jackie needs her credit, her money that's owed to her, nothing that she's asking. I'm speaking up for you. So, but no, real talk. Real talk, though. And also, Christopher Williams, the song Dreaming. If I'm dreaming.
If I'm dreaming.
If I'm dreaming, because it was also on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Exactly. I believe it was also on the goodness. Why? What is wrong with my brain today? Wesley Snipes, the movie. What is the movie?
New Jack City.
New Jack City. Goodness gracious, one of the black classics. I'm gonna get my whole black card cooking. They gonna take me away from the cookout this year. I'm not even gonna be able to go.
So, you stupid. You were stupid.
So while you was waiting for your album to drop from 1990 because it didn't drop to 92, right?
Yeah, my album didn't come out to 92.
I was wondering what was the gap because I looked at when you got signed versus when the album actually dropped, and I was wondering, is that where you went on a? I was wondering why you went on the road with Toto. What was that about? So you said you was basically just keeping busy, or?
Yeah, I was just trying to keep busy because I didn't want to like fall into no depression or anything like that. Like, oh God, my record won't come out. And, so I was like, you know what? Let me see. Let me just take my chances with whatever. And like I said, I wasn't supposed to do the song with Salt-N-Pepa, but I snuck and did it anyway. I got in trouble. And then I got my biggest lesson. I didn't get paid for it. I gave up, my rights to it. And it is what it is. It's still a big record, regardless of if I got my just due on it or not. It's still a big record. And I can say I'm not a one-hit wonder, that I have two hits. Two hits. So and not on top of my record coming out, and it hurts me doing really well. But still, it was like people just could not put the face with the voice. And that was one of the biggest things that happened, that messed up for me. But in between 1990 and 92, with my record coming out, I went out with the rock group Toto, which was one of my, oh my gosh, when I tell you, that was one of my favorite groups. And I watched them win like 8 Grammys when it was like 1983. I was in 11th grade. Yep. And they were like, I'm telling my age, I'm 55. I don't hide my age. So
most women that look good for their age won't hide it. So that's why
exactly.
you're
He'd be like,
say it.
Let me try to keep it together. I got a little swollen eyes today. I have my glasses on. I can't see anyway, but from my allergies. But I'm like, no, I'm 55. I don't, I don't try to like go away from my age. But the thing that with Toto, that was like the weirdest thing for me. I'm watching them, and I remember watching them in 83. I'm watching them on the Grammys, winning 8 Grammys, right? It was like 8 or 10, and they won like a Grammy in every category. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, I just love them. Never knew that, how many years from that? 7 years from that time, I would be singing with them, and that was the crazy, part about it. I'm like, wow. So I get a, wait, let me turn this thing off. It's going to keep blinking. I'm sorry. I get a phone call. My girlfriend calls me, and she sung with me with Keith Sweat. And she goes, Jack, I have a situation, and tell me if you'll be able to do it. She was like, call Harrell and ask him. But she said, okay, I got a phone call from Toto's management, and she was like, they need another person to sing. And she said, I told them that, I had been out on the road with Keith Sweat, and, my friend is Jacci Mcghee, and they knew who I was right off the bat because they had an artist on MCA named Vince Gill, a country artist, Vince Gill. So they knew who I was. They knew my voice. They knew everything. So they were like, what? What do you mean? Jackie, that's your friend or whatever. So they were like, ask her, would she be interested in doing the tour? So she was like, let me call her. So that she called me and she said, Jack, they, want me to ask you because I told them about you and they already know who you are. And I said, okay, so when do I have to audition? Where's the audition? She said, you don't have to audition. I said, what do you mean?
You already.
She said, you don't have to. She was like, you don't have to audition. They know who you are. They want you to come and sing. They don't care. So I was like, you lying. She was like, no. I said, stop playing for real. She's like, I'm not playing. So I talked to the Toto's managers, and they were like, man, we know who you are. We know your voice. You're an incredible singer. We just want you to, do the tour. Can you do it? And I was like, let me call my manager and find out if I can sneak and leave. And I called Hiram, and he said, well, I don't know. I don't know, Jack. I don't know when they're going to drop your record. I said, well, at least let me go out until they decide when. But the crazy part was Toto's management they could go into MC and ask the president of the label that signed me as well, because that was their boy. So they knew that my record wasn't coming out yet. So they were like, yeah, your record's not coming out yet. You can come out on the road. So I ended up going out with Toto, and I was singing Georgie Porgy, Hold the Line, Rosanna, Africa, all the songs that I loved. And the whole time I'm like pinching myself, saying, am I really out with Toto? This is crazy. And we got spoiled, of course, because now we're on a tour where, you know, we're flying first class everywhere, and then we flying private jets, and you know, you got you're not even at five. Oh my gosh, you're not even at 5-star hotels. You're at like 6 stars and whatever. And what is that? And they pulling out black cards, you know, to pay for stuff. And we have a chef that travels with us, and it's like you still pinching yourself like, what kind of tour is this? That, you know. And especially coming off the tour with Keith, it's like you coming from the R&B tour to the pop tour, different life. So I ended up doing Toto for 2 years. I did it until I couldn't do it anymore. In between doing Toto, when I was off, I just constantly worked. And in between doing Toto, I would come back home and do Keith Sweat. And then after Keith, I went back out with Toto. I came back home and I started singing with Guy, because Teddy called me and he was like, can you come out and do Goodbye Love with Aaron on the show? And I was like, he said, we just doing the weekends right now, but can you come out and do Goodbye Love? And I was like, yeah, I can come out. You know, how much y'all gonna pay me? So I went out on the road with Guy as well. And I was actually singing with Guy when that whole thing went down with Guy and New Edition. And our bodyguard,
with the shooting.
Yeah, our bodyguard, Anthony B, got killed. Yep, that was crazy. And I wasn't, the crazy part was I wasn't out there the day that happened, because I hurt my foot the weekend before. And I was on my way to the airport to go, you know, out for that weekend. And no lie, the voice in me was so loud. This is how you know the Holy Spirit is real and the Most High is real. The voice was so loud, it kept saying, go home, go back home. And I'm like, why do I keep hearing something tell me go back home? And I mean, I was in the cab going to the airport, everything. And the voice got louder and said, go home. And I was like, okay, you don't have to tell me again. And I don't say, you ain't got to say it again.
Sure, you're right.
Right. But I get back and I'm calling, trying to reach Teddy and Gene. And Gene already knew I was hurt. Teddy did too. I was hurt from the weekend before. So I was like, oh, my foot is swollen. I can't get it in my shoe. You know, I won't be able to come out to do Goodbye Love this weekend. And did not know that the Most High, and I call God the Most High. He was keeping me from witnessing somebody get killed, or even being around it to where I get caught up in it or whatever. And I had called Teddy. I was calling Teddy, and I was like, I was calling him like 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, what's going on? How was the show? What you doing? And, did Gene tell you what happened? I couldn't come out and whatever. And they had an argument the first night. I had called Teddy. And then the second night, I couldn't get him on the phone. And I was trying to find out how the show went and whatever. And I didn't get him until like 6:00 that morning. And he was sounding sad. And I was like, what's wrong? And he said, Jack, you're not even going to believe this. This is terrible. And I was like, what happened? And he said, Anthony B got killed. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, you know what I told you last night about, the whole thing with us and, New Edition, and they pulled the plug while Aaron was singing, he was singing Let's Chill, or one of them. And they pulled the plug while he was singing. So he was like, well, Anthony got killed. And I was like, Anthony wasn't even out there. How did he get killed? Like, where did he, because Anthony traveled with me, Teddy, Aaron, and Damien. So because he was their bodyguard. So when I was out with them, you know,
He
it
was
was all
yours.
of us. Yeah. And he protected me like nobody's business. He always made sure I was good and whatever. But he had went home. Gene sent him back out. And he got killed. And it was like, and even the way he got killed, like, it's so sad because I knew the guy that shot him that worked with New Edition. And you're talking about a wonderful person. He was a sweetheart. And I know he was in a position to fight back because he was a martial artist. So I knew he could fight, you know. It was just so unfortunate, you know, that Anthony had to die. I'm glad I wasn't there. I'm so glad I wasn't there to witness any of that. And but that was the end of my stuff with Guy. I was like, okay, that's it. And let me tell you, every time, no lie, every time I go to something or I'm around, it's a shootout with Teddy around. Like, Teddy, well, come on, what's going on? Like, for a minute, I was like, you got too many like demons following you, bro. Like, what's going on? It was a lot. It was a lot, you know. And I was at a Blackstreet party. I'm talking to Monifa and the Brat and Herbie's brother Steve. And we, you know, we having our little thing. We waiting for Blackstreet to come on. We all at the, you know, the party thing that they have it and they performing or whatever. And the daggone, I hear, I knew something was gonna pop off. Here go my spirit again. Here go the Most High talking again. Get out of there. And I'm saying, what? You know, like, because when I hear the voice speaking to me, right, I'm asking, well, what do you mean? But I saw this prostitute chick come and talk to the pimp. And she was like, well, so-and-so did something. And this is when I first walked in. She was telling him something happened with another, like a guy was disrespecting her. So the first thing I said was, oh, Lord, something gonna pop off. I hope not. And then when I was standing where, you know, I'm talking to Monifa and I'm talking to the Brat, and Steve, it was like, I see them in there arguing. And I see the little pimp guy arguing with somebody. And I'm saying in my mind, something gonna pop off. Next thing I know, gunshots. Pow, pow, pow. Steve telling us, get on the floor. So we drop on the floor. All of us are like not knowing what to do. I couldn't even tell you what happened to Monifa and Brat because I left them behind because I was like, I got a baby to get back to. And my son, I'm not trying to get killed. So I crawled to the door like I was on my, and everything is going crazy. And all you hear is gunshots and wildness popping off. And I was like crawling to get to the back door because I was by the back door. And they had a Rottweiler by the back door and everything. And I wasn't even scared of the dog. At this point, I was like, get the dog. I was like, I just want to get out of here. I was like, get the effing dog. So the security guard was like, go ahead, get out. So I went out the back door and I left. When I tell you I was driving, I was scared to death. My nerves was bad. I was like, I ain't going out no more. I'm never going out again. Never. Like, it was always something, you know. But go ahead, because I can tell you stories to the couch.
No, look. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So we have that. You know, we have the classics that you created. Then the album dropped. I think you left MCA after what, your second album?
Yeah, my second album. My album dropped in 92. And Skeezer was the first video and single.
Yep.
And
I remember
Skeezer that was terrible. I did not want to do that song. Herbie Lovebug produced it. And Hiram wanted it to be my first single. And I'm like, how I go from a ballad to a song called Skeezer?
And the way you dressed was just different on there from you. So it was like so much. I mean, we got to be honest, y'all. And here it is again with the trailblazing, again, why I wanted you to be a part of the show. Even like you said, with the big hats and them copying, as far as that, taking that part from you, a lot of artists used that same style to go on. I mean, we're talking Erykah Badu came out with a very, very similar style to yours and I love Erica, you feel me? But y'all both are
Right.
on that same type of plane as far as the dressing and stuff like that. Like you created a style because that wasn't what it was. I mean, back then we did have skeezers, you know, it was either that or it was the boy clothes dressing girls. Like it was no really in between. You had En Vogue who tried to do more of a sexual, sensual type look, but it was either the very, very skeezerish looking look or the I'm Queen Latifah, who you calling a bitch look.
Right.
You know,
the black look. You wearing what was the clothes back then? That was
cross
colors.
Yes. Oh man, all of that.
And I wore a lot of cross colors and all of that. I wore that stuff. I was like in between, but because I was going to Europe so much, I still had my funky style that I had created. You know, for me. And you know, it's crazy that you said Erica, because when I tell you everywhere I go, I can have my hat on, whatever, and they're like, "Are you Erica Badu?" Or, "Oh, you know what? We like your style. That's so Erica." And I tell them I'm older than Erica.
I was that, yeah.
I tell them that all the time. I'm older than Erica, and I'm the one that started it. Get out of here!
Originator,
but
originator, trailblazer. That's why, you know, like I said, it's again, it's about giving praise and the due respect that is done, because a lot of people don't notice the moves that we make. I mean, your voice is behind a lot of songs that people didn't know and they learned today. And I don't think people realize how beautiful that voice is, even still today. I remember a few years ago, you dropped, what was the song? It was
If This World Were Mine. If This World Were Mine.
Yes, If This World Was Mine. And you dropped that and you said more music was coming. That music, that song itself has such a feel of nostalgia. It's such a feel of singing. You rarely get singing, you know, like singing with an A. You know, you rarely get that nowadays.
Right. That singing.
Yeah, you know, but what sticks out the most to me about If This World Was Mine is it's a woman bigging up her man. And we don't see that nowadays. Literally, we're not shit according to women.
Right. It's
you know,
bad. It's bad.
It's rare. I'm not even gonna say rare. We don't get that, like that type of music that a woman is calling us a king type of thing. You know, we get it here and there on Facebook and media, social media type stuff, but it's rare that music lets us hear that that's the king. Hey, I appreciate you. And I thought that was beautiful. Is that written by you?
Yeah, me and another producer that I work with, Reese Johnson, producer Declare. He's a beast. But the thing we wanted to put out something that sound that still had that 90s feel, because, you know, people were saying, "Oh, we lost that. How do we get it back?" And I didn't want to put out something that sound 90s, but I wanted the video to look like a 90s video. Yep. And my son shot the video. My son is about to graduate from college. He's going to be a producer of film and a director of film. And he just told me last night that he and his friend won the International Student Film Festival for the whole world.
Congrats.
They beat out NYU, everybody, because he goes to Fairleigh Dickinson in Madison, New Jersey, and they're really good with their film department. A private college, it's really good college, and they won, and he was like, "Mom," and he produced the film, and he was like, "Mom, we won." I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "We won at the Student Film Festival, the International Student Film Festival." I was like, "Shut up!" And they're up for 4 more. 2, they're already finalists in 2. And the other 2, he don't know where they stand yet. So I was like, the good thing is the girl that he did the movie with, the short film with, her and her brother graduated last year. And my son was supposed to graduate last year, but he wanted to do another year so he can produce film as well. So they're out and they're all a team. They always work together. And her brother works for HBO, and she's doing big things. And then that was her thesis. Their movie was her thesis, and my son produced it, and it won. So now,
congratulations to him.
Isn't that, it's crazy, right? I was like, thank you. I was like, it's about to be on, but he's already working for companies, he does a lot of stuff, but he shot If This Were Mine when he was a freshman in college, and he just threw it together. It wasn't even like, there was no thought to it. We did it with one camera. We got kicked out of the mall. We took some shots at the mall, and we got kicked out of the mall because we didn't ask for permission. And then we did the rest on the beach, and that was it. I was like, let's just do something to give it a 90s feel. So with If This Were Mine, I wasn't able to promote it because I had gotten sick with my esophagus. I have GERD, so which is acid reflux, really bad. I get it bad. And my esophagus was swollen. So, with me, it comes from years of working on the road and stuff, and eating and sleeping. We would eat, and then it was like, okay, go lay down. We're gonna go lay down on the bus or whatever, or you up late and you're eating. But that's when it started back then, but it got bad. My daughter, she has type 1 diabetes. She was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 2017, and I stay up a lot at night, and I'm always like snacking while I'm up, but I don't eat anything heavy. I was eating peanuts and popcorn, and it messed me up. It messed my esophagus up. So it was affecting my voice. And my voice is still not together because I haven't been getting the therapy that I needed. And it's just, my voice was just not there. I couldn't hit the high notes. I couldn't do anything. I have nodes on my vocal cord. So I was like, man, okay, and I took it as, okay, Father, you know what? You just don't want me to, you just not want me to sing and be in this industry like that. Like it wasn't a thing that I was so much trying to be back in the industry, because I really don't care for the industry, but I just wanted to be able to sing again. And it was like, he was like, pump the brakes. I'm not letting you do that right now. No. And I'm like, come on, what do you want me to do? I'm like going through the whole thing. But going back to when, and I didn't tell you this, and I meant to tell you this, because I talk about it now. Before I wouldn't talk about it, but I talk about it now. Andre Harrell was managing me before Hiram Hicks. When I first got my record deal, he managed me for just a couple of months. And he came to me with the idea of being the queen of hip hop soul, the queen of the ghetto. And I told him no. I said, that's not me. I was like, because I was dressing all crazy then, and going to Europe a lot and all of that. And I was like, that's not me to be, the queen of the ghetto. I can't pull that off. I'm like, yeah, I'm from the Bronx, but I can't pull that off. And I just didn't feel like it was for me. And of course, he ended up doing it. Jeff Red had brought in Mary J. Blige.
Mary J.
And they were like, well, we have somebody. And when they brought it in, they were like, would you work with her? Would you do, some artist development with her? And I was like, okay, sure. While I'm home, I'll work with her. Mary was shy, but ghetto at the same time, very ghetto. And I was like, oh God. Like I remember, and I love Mary. That's my girl to this day. I love me some Mary. I haven't seen Mary in some years. But I remember getting my album cover, and they brought it to me, and they showed me the record, and they're like, what do you think, Jack? The art department, was like, this is your album cover. What do you think? So I was like, oh, I think it's hot. It's nice. And I give it to Mary because she said, I want to see it. And, she was looking at it and she was like, oh, this is beautiful. So, we talking in there to other people from the record label. And okay, when I'm leaving, I'm looking for the album cover. I was like, oh, let me get the album cover pictures. Let me see. Mary was sitting on the pictures. So it's in the chair under her butt. And I was like, Mary, you sitting on my picture? And she was like, what? No, what? Oh my gosh, yes, I'm sorry. You can't tell me Mary didn't do that on purpose. I don't care what nobody say. You cannot tell me she didn't do that on purpose. But that,
Listen,
that was that.
Cutthroat. it's a cutthroat business.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah, definitely. But she wasn't even like in yet. They were trying to groom her. And I know when she saw me, she probably was like, oh gosh, here we go. She coming here with a fur coat on and funky and what, oh man, and I feel, I felt what she saw, because I was always very humble and fun and laughing and be silly with everybody, but I could be intimidating, to
Right.
other artists. And it was because I was very, what do you call it? I was confident in who I was, especially with my fashion and everything, because I used to work for German Vogue magazine. So that's where I got a lot of my, my fashion sense from, because I was working with when I was singing with Keith, I was working for ABC. I used to work for ABC Radio, ABC Television, ABC Sports, and I was working for ABC Radio when I left. When the Make It Last Forever album started to hit, I had to leave my job because it was like that time. It was like, okay, now you gotta go. You gotta go on the road. The record is big, let's go. So I left my job, and I, like I said, I always had my little fashion sense. So I was very confident, in what I was bringing to the table with myself, and I wasn't, I just didn't, I never wanted nobody to feel bad or anything. So I was one of those, like, if they like something, I'm like, you like this, girl, I get it for you. That was me. I didn't want anybody to feel left out of anything or make them feel funny or anything. That was me all day. So, and I still do it to this day. I give everything out my closet. I'm like, take it. You can have it.
I said it in the beginning. You are one of the sweetest people, the dopest spirit. So that's wonderful. I need to know what is next. What is next? And I hope that you say acting, because I love what you're doing. For those that are watching this, when we release this, Black History Month may be over, but y'all know that we live Black History Year. So don't worry about it. Go to her IG and watch some of the things she do for Black History Month. And the things that she's posting, I swear you need to go do acting. I want you to be a part of the acting world, but I'm going to let you tell us what's next for Miss Mcghee.
You know what? I can't say. I kind of got to walk with the Most High and see what he says, because I have a single that I want to put out. It's a message single. It's not a song about, I love you and all of this, which that'll come. But I have to do message music right now, because we're living in, very crucial times. The song is called The Riches of the World. And is the hook is all the riches of the world, gain that ish and lose yourself. So it's me singing all the parts, but it's the devil talking to me as if I was a person out in the club and doing my life. And then you have God talking to you. And the devil's saying, oh, you can have all of this if you just rock with me. You can do whatever. I'll give you whatever you want. And then you have God talking and saying, well, you have free will. I'm here. I'll come and I'll check on you, make sure you're good, but you have free will to do what you want. So I want to it's an up tempo. The beat is hot. It's crazy. I worked with my producer declared Reese, the same guy that did If This World Were Mine. We have something that's crazy. He hates it, and everybody that he has played it for were like, yo, this is going to be a hit. Like, yo, this is going to be big all around the world. But for me, it's not about having a hit. I don't care about Billboard. I don't care about Grammys. I don't care about any of that. That I'm too old for that. I'm like, you know what? My reward comes when I leave this earth, and the Most High say, well done, daughter. You did a good job with, when I let you be born. How about that? It's like, I don't want to leave this, earth saying, I didn't do what I was supposed to. I didn't bring messages and stuff. And that's why I do the videos that I do. And I'm going to get to that. So I don't know when the single is going to come out because we're still trying to raise the money for the video. My son told me I'm not shooting a video for free this time, and I'm not shooting no video. He was like, I don't want to do that type of video. He was like, I want to do a real video because you're my mother. And he was like, I want you to have a video with a storyline, a real storyline and whatever, especially for this song. He came up with a phenomenal treatment for the video. But we need $10,000 to do it. So I gotta, get the money up to do it. And he wants to shoot it with a special camera. The dragon red camera, dragon something.
Well, he knows what he's talking about. I'm gonna trust him.
He does,
I think that's needed. I love that you're on. I love that you described it as I'm just gonna go where the walk is taking me, kind of, because that's important. And most people don't in life. People chase everything except for what their path's supposed to be. We chase money, we chase riches, we chase glitter, gold, all of those things, and it's the second show in a row. So I'm gonna look at it as a very good thing. I got a tattoo on my chest, and it's the second show in a row that I've mentioned this tattoo, and it came up in a situation like this, which is, well, what does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his own soul? And that is basically what that song is about. So I cannot wait until we hear it. I cannot wait until it becomes a part of the world, because the world needs it. And again, you're a trendsetter, you're a trailblazer. You are all of those things, Queen. So I'm 100% sure that song will be as big as it's supposed to be. I'm sure that God's going to get it inside of the hands that it needs to be inside of, to make sure that it's getting, because that's why we do music. Music was always one of those things that we did. And if you're a creator, a creator of any type of music, you create not for the money, although the money plays a part because our craft costs, and everything else is charged. So you got to get the money part of it. But if you create, then you understand that you're creating for literally to free your mind.
Right.
You have to create. If you're a creator, you have to create. I did music for years. And when I stopped it, I had to find something, which is how this podcast came about. I had to find something, because if I can't create, if I can't give the world nothing, I'm losing myself. That's weird.
Right.
You lose yourself when you're giving the world stuff. But those are the parts of me I need to lose. I need to get them to the world because they need to get to somebody. So I love that you're expressing yourself and you're about to bring that to us. So what else? What else? What else?
Well, I don't, like I said, I just kind of just go with the flow and see what the Most High say. But so we're gonna, get the video out when it's time, because I was trying to move ahead of time, and it was like, the Most High was like, just slow down. It's gonna come out when I say. And then I do act. I do, I had started acting. And my daughter got diagnosed with diabetes, so I can't, I couldn't go out and do the stuff that I was doing or whatever. And my daughter she's 12 now, but she still need a lot of supervision with her diabetes stuff. So, and it's not easy because she was sick. She for the 6 months last year, she was really sick. She had a seizure and was almost out of here. And then she went into what they call DKA, and it's acid in your blood, and she had to go in ICU in November. So it's, we go through it with her diabetes. She go through it. It's a lot for her. Her dad is not around. I'm married, but I've been separated for some years now, and I'm getting a divorce. And it's like, for her, my daughter comes first. And, my sons are grown. My oldest son, he'll be 27. And my youngest son is about to graduate from college. He's 23. And, she's 12. So it's like, I got to make sure she's okay, And she fusses at me because she's like, Ma, you care more about the diabetes, but you don't pay me no attention. And I'm like, what do you mean? And, I feel bad because I don't want her to ever think that I don't want to pay her any attention. But my mind be on the diabetes and stuff so much that when I do get 5 seconds to do something on IG or have my lives, because I do, a Jackie's Closet live on IG, and I do another live at a late night talks and jams with Jackie on IG. And I do it so because I feel like I'm about to lose my damn mind because it's just me and my daughter. And like you said, when you're not doing music, you got to do something to get something out. And I'm about to go crazy. So, I don't know what is going to come, but I do know, I use my platform for IG. They don't want to give me a blue check. And they told me that I need to remove some of my content. And I said, absolutely not. So keep your blue check. I don't need a blue check. I'm like, I'm not trying to impress nobody with a blue check. The blue check, what it does is when you're an artist or whatever, it opens, they'll send your stuff will be open to the world to see.
Yeah.
And that's
they
how
move
you get
it more.
more.
I mean, it's the algorithm, but you're also moving with the content that they are approving.
Right.
So many things got so many puppet strings and
right.
And again, another thing that we're walking on a path to chase that we might not supposed to be chasing. Every content creator is out here trying to get a blue check. Just give me the damn check. I don't need it to be blue. I just need a check, a big check. So however that check come, it.
Right. But it don't. It's blue, green, purple. We need a check.
However it come, I just need a check. As far as your daughter, I want you to remember this because I know it's hard being a parent. I want you to remember that she's not supposed to understand yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not her time to understand. She will though. Yeah. We do a lot of things as parents, and it seems like we always feel like you can have 15 kids. You're gonna feel like you're messing up on each last one of them. Like every last one of them. My oldest is 18. My youngest 2 is 5 and 7, and it's like, oh man, all 3 of y'all got different fathers. I'm good sometimes. I'm bad sometimes. I'm in my head. I'm terrible. So it's like we're always reaching to be better.
Yeah.
So keep in mind that one day they'll understand because they'll be on the other side of that and they'll be parents and they'll realize the sacrifices and the changes and what love is. We don't learn unconditional love through the people that we love, like our boyfriends, the girlfriends and stuff like that. That's just love, and it's so conditional. I mean, but unconditional love is what we learn through our children. That's that stuff.
That's right.
It just continues. It stays inside of you. And this is to all the parents out there. I know we got parents with children that they're not in their lives. We got parents that children might be, deceased or things of sort. That light never stops shining inside you. So us as parents, man, just keep fighting, keep striving. It's going to be okay. They're going to understand one day. It's going to understand one day. So I'm going to hold you up forever. We got to do a part 3 one day and catch up even more because
I'm in. You already know. Because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Look, I know we could unpack for hours, and that's one thing that I wanted everybody that I bring on for the I Declare War segment of my show is basically people that I know I got to do different parts. I got to bring it back. I got to do things. So I want you to let the fans and the listeners and the new fans, the old fans and the coming fans and every fan, let them know how they can reach you, how they can keep up with you, because although you're walking in the path, it's going to be some great things in there. I see it coming. So I just want you to tell them how they can keep up with you and just keep that without that blue check. Accuracy.
Exactly. Without the blue check. Just give us whatever color check, right? Me and Ty said, give us whatever color check.
Whatever color check. Just give us a check. That's all we need.
Give us a check. They can follow me on IG. Like I said, I do a show called Jackie's Closet Live, and I have another show that I do at night called Late Night Talks and Jams with Jackie. And what I try to do with both of my platforms, the closet is not about what's in your closet. It's about what's in your closet of your life and what we can do to heal and bring out what we're hiding in our closets that people don't see and don't know about you. And at nighttime, when I do the late night talks, we talk about generational curses. We talk about, like you said, we don't big our men up enough anymore. We have, our men has been, messed up so much by this country trying to break our Black men down, that now women are saying, oh, our men are not nothing, not S-H-I-T. And it's like, no. Understand that the Most High made the man the head, and he made the man the head for a reason. And the reason why, you know, I'm not going to go into it, that'll be for part 3, but the reason why, you know, Satan has it like that is because he, you know, if you go to the word, the Bible says the seed of the woman will crush the head of the serpent. So the seed of the woman is the man. That's why he is feminizing men right now. Oh, part 3 gonna be good, because then I can go into what's really happening in the world and what people don't understand, because I'm definitely on my my spiritual journey, and I go in and I'm for the Most High. I'm for Jesus. What everybody say Jesus, but I call him by his Hebrew name, which is Yahusha, because we are the true Hebrews, and we don't know who we are, and the Most High is waking his people up to find out who we are. Those Jews are not the chosen people. We are. And that's something I can go in and talk about later, you know.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna come up with some content, and me and you gonna create. And we're gonna come up with a way to do it. So we're gonna make that happen. Listen, listeners, make sure y'all follow. What's all the Instagram pages and the social media? What are you under? What's your name on there so they can follow you there?
At Jacci, Jacci Mcghee, Jacci Mcghee, and that's on Instagram. And then on Facebook is Jacci Mcghee Peoples. So you can pull up whatever, and I'm there. But I'm not a Facebook chick, so don't look for me on there too much. I'm an IG girl.
I got you. Listen, y'all, make sure y'all do that. Y'all already know what to do for Cards Face Up. Follow us, like us. We have 2 YouTube pages, because just like that blue check, YouTube be playing a lot of games too. So we had to start another one on y'all so that we give both great content to both pages. Y'all already know how we do. Both of them get exclusive content. They are on YouTube, Cards Face Up Podcast, and also Cards Face Up TV. Don't forget that you can listen to us on all audio streaming platforms, which is Spotify, Google, Apple, Amazon. We're everywhere. So make sure you listen. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you do everything. Y'all, we love you. Peace. Jacci Mcghee, we love you. We appreciate everything about you.
Thank you.
Peace out, y'all.